Hey, Joy. This is the world. We're coming to talk to you and specifically to you, working with the new spread, getting the flow of what we're showing you and how we're going to implement it, but not using yours as an example like some fictitious thing. We're going to speak to you about us and to us about you, the whole shebang. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, apparently, we're starting with the tarot deck number 1. We're going to shuffle it through a few times. Let's get clarity on our discipline focus. Our world's all kind of at odds. Okay, so if that's all it, then here we are. Okay. So it took me a second because we're working with this and trying to understand. They're like, you're not going to understand. This is where you're at. And that's part of what this spread is actually about. Looking at where you're at and that parallel you in a parallel universe. And how do they come together? What's the magic? How do we do that? So we're going to take a look at the energy of the situation. Let's slide these down. So let's get those. We have the triple deck here. The Moon Magic Medicine. Interesting that you would choose that, okay, for the overall energy. So definitely moon energy. The mind, wanting to test the mind, to clarify the mind. Show us the clarification of the mind. This energy, the reality, okay, where the energy is sitting right now. All right. You're apparently like, they're talking about hydrostatic energy. Bigger than synergy. Hydrostatic energy. There we have the mortar and the pestle in the front. Talk about, they keep saying like stirring up your dry goods, stirring up your dry goods. Just because they're dry doesn't mean they're old and of no use. They're pertinent and they are relevant and they season life. Okay, with that we have the peppermint coming in. Calm, cool, collected, ain't gonna sweat nothing over that. All right, we got the ginger. We're going to perk up. We're going to get ourselves moving and going. First, our digestion, because we nurture, nourish, and take care of ourselves before we put the demand on ourselves, okay? It's like having money in the bank account before you spend from the bank account. Whoop, whoop. All right, fennel. Oh, these are some beautiful cycles of life. And it's beautiful because it ain't your cycle no more. You can see it with clear eyes, with the assurance of knowing how this turns out, right? Like the caterpillar, you can think, oh, chrysalis butterflies, yay. Imagine that caterpillar, they have this insatiable appetite and overfeeding. So they feed and feed and feed until their skin pops. Discomfort, right? Getting stuff till you pop, that's discomfort. And then all of a sudden they have all this room that the hunger cuts back on and they feed and feed and feed again through the frenzy, right? So you got that whole big energy going on there, the discomfort, which finally leads to the butterfly. Butterflies don't have backpacks. They don't go around eating ever again. They drink. They drink from the nectar of life, from the milk and the honey. All right, Shasta. That's what they're saying. And then we have elder. Okay, so this, it kills the virus. All right. And that virus is the state of mind in which it's like disgruntled. The dis. Let's just leave it at that. Elder, dis to dis. And it's like, I am here to soothe, to calm, to nurture, to nourish. It's like an umbrella of life. And not to keep the necessary rain out, but it lets the magic in. It keeps kind of like a screen. It keeps the bugs out your house, but yet you can open up and get to fresh air. All right. It's fully participatory. Then we have, well, it's showing up like a full moon, but their images are sometimes questionable. It's the full moon. Divine fruition and observance. The effects of the full moon are said to include insomnia, insanity, often referred to as lunacy, and according to some legend, lycanthropy. Okay, that's werewolfism. The Babylonian fertility goddess Ishtar is said to have transformed a former lover, a shepherd, into a wolf, dooming him to threaten the flock his charge was to defend. So basically, to turn on yourself. Well, that's making me think of the reading the other day where it was like, cut your losses. It's like, no, because that hurts you. I mean, cutting off your nose to spite your face, but we weren't recognizing it. It's like, just like when we just chop ourselves up with the zodiac and we're trying to make the pieces and parts the whole again. You can't. It's whole or it's not. It's sliced and diced, and what the image can be pieced together, but now there are barriers, there are separations. So it's like life sitting in this special filter to remove that gridding that's been sitting around you. What you talking about? So the gridding of this energy, living in time and space. Okay, some of you, that is indicated by a Saturn return that you experienced. It's in generally around the 28th year of your life, some the 29th. Okay, so let's set these aside. It's still split with the waxing crescent and the shield, but this is more like the crest, the family crest. So that's being established, like a motto, like a mission, communion, community, that type of thing. Okay. And that's happening now concurrently while we're still in autumn. Even though we're stepping off into Sagittarius, we're still in the autumn season for a good bit of time here. So they're wanting us to stay focused and centralized in this. All right. So to kick off, they tricked me with that energy. So there's a ripple effect that's being kicked off by a Five of Cups. Feeling unanswered, like unrequited, and not just unrequited because we think of that love as like I love our boyfriend, our husband, our girlfriend, our whatever, our people friend. But this is like your dreams. And the energy is saying, well, so maybe you don't love them as much as we do. We love them. Why don't you? And it's creating a dismal cloud of separation, of choosing. Like not recognizing that the mist rolling in is coming from that attitude. And it's creating the separation because they can't scream and shout and whatever. They knock. And if you're not listening, then you don't open the door. And the blessing keeps passing by. So they're talking about this fog, this mist rolling in, which is like a miserable spirit. And so it's not even seeing them. There, the trees, all lined up across the shoreline over there, beckoning and calling. You just haven't seen it yet. Okay, so this is you. Very interesting. You're coming in as the Four of Wands. It's table set, tides have turned. That's what I hear in your life. The table is set, the tides have turned. And that means it's time for the season of feasting. No longer the season of famine, of investment. It's time to sit down at the table and from your labors rest. Enjoy the fruit. Okay, I don't know why they have me peeking around this guy. You hello. I mean, that's the thing. Maybe that's it. You're pretty timid about this energy coming on in the Four of Wands. They're saying stand tall, be self-assured. They're saying don't rock the boat, don't tip the boat over. All right. You can have this giddiness. You can have this effervescence. Is kind of what it looks like energetically when I see it going off in your spirit. Okay. And so that's a bit of what's going on now. And it's amazing that even though it's young, it's quite strong. Even though it's new, it's fertile and established. And there are reasons to celebrate. So put on your celebration shoes, or take off your shoes to celebrate with naked feet, whatever it is. You know your color. Okay, so here is what you're going through. This is the situation at hand, and it's the Six of Wands. You're talking about you feeling like you're left out. You're not even aware that you are a unit, a union, a unity, that this beautiful divinement is already going on. It has already happened. Kind of like the butterflies out laying eggs, dipping around on the flower, not knowing it's starting that cycle again for the future generations of the caterpillars. So this is another nectar loving creature, just like the butterfly, the nectar of life, the sweet nectar of life. Okay, well, so my name means the sweet nectar of life. And that's the inspiration. And inspiration can lead to the motivation, to the directionality, knowing that this is your soul, yourself, sitting with your spirit. Okay? That it's like the human design, the vehicle and the person, the self. Okay? Riding along. And so you're giving yourself something to aim for, some direction in which to go, but always being rewarded the whole time. See, this isn't like a carrot and a rabbit. Okay? Do you see? You're not hopping and bouncing and being bumped around. This is fast and flawless flight, being fed all the while through. Unlike the caterpillar, very much like the butterfly, being satisfied the whole time. No longer that being incongruent with your environment. All right. Well, that's the energy going on right now. So I think why this is showing up for you is so that you'll know it. And not be a fear in it or concerned about other things. Just realize that, yes, you can't see it, but you are perceiving it. You're not just having to talk yourself into it. You're actually talking yourself through it. Okay? You ain't no jummy. If anybody ever watched Fred Sanford, he always said, jummy, not dummy, you jummy. So anyways, you ain't no jummy. Your mind ain't no junkyard. It's treasure, babe. Okay. So, Feral, why are you over here? Oh, that was part of those. Anyway, so then we move on into if you stay neutral. Like if you're like, okay, yeah, whatevs. Didn't seem that big of a deal. I'm pretty at peace with what it is. I'm just going to go on and wait and see what happens. You know, watch and let it happen. Just be neutral. Just be neutral. Just knowing this is enough. It calms me down. So I'm not going to rock the boat, remember? Okay? And I see that there's enough good stuff that I'm also just not going to put any extra effort to turn a stone and try and, vibe with this. All right. So that's kind of what we're talking about here with the Knight of Cups. This is how it will turn out. You'll be playing your own instrument. And this is beautiful because this is like the meaning. This is the magic. This is all of it coming forth, because not just the lotus that represents one rising pure and unblemished from the deep, from the depths, from the dark, from the mud and the muck and the mire, okay? That within it, it holds a great treasure, and that treasure is you. The song you play, your love song, is the song of the stars, is the song of the heavens and the earth. It's where they meet and merge on your ship, okay? Your relationship with yourself. That's where you'll be going as Knight of Cups, is you'll know yourself. All right, so we're going to check out the card that is rising up from the bottom beneath the Six of Wands. Right now it's looking at me like this, okay? About this heavenly flight, right? This perpetual state of satisfaction, of bliss, of ethereal, of eternal, of meaning, of life's meaning for you personally, which is the state of joy, okay? Love is the universality. It's kind of like the energy that feeds the plant that makes the rose bush bloom. And joy is like the roses. It's those things that individuate out, that get pollinated, that have your interest, have your heart, that bring you joy. Okay, so we're going to find out what situation and unknown energy around, some unknown information, maybe unrecognized, just something that is coming in to assist your energy to move in and through this. Okay. So this would be assistive. It's the Ten of Swords. They're talking about everything that you have been through that you, where you've been used and abused, was actually shaping and faceting you. It's an odd way to say it, that it makes you fascinating, unique, and individual. That softens the blow a bit there, right? But the thing is it's kind of like, let your face reflect this. All right. If y'all knew me before, this was on my hair, right? It was wild and tossed by the wind. And then in came some chemo and radiation, and it done turned my hair white. I don't know what's happening, but that's all right. They're talking about lift your head. Everything is a facet of this whole new world, this light that you bring. All right. So with that, I would say consider the light, because that's the pure light in this state. You went from like the caterpillar, the rainbow, and got compressed into the white ray where it all merged, and it was blinding light, and not knowing what to do and having to feel your way through it. Interesting. Okay, so it's the inverse. What is down below is what what is like mulling under the surface that could undermine you, that works against you if you were to behave in that energy of like staying downcast, holding on to the past. And they're not asking you to forget what lies behind the rainbow, all the spectrum, all the flavors, all of that. Going into the white isn't going to reduce the sensuality, the pleasure, the deliciousness of being you. Just going down to the one light isn't going to be boring, is what you're saying. Okay, so check that out. They're like, don't worry with that. Lift your head and realize that it gives you clarity to see everything in its true form. Because if you're in the ray of red or orange or yellow or green, it taints or tints the environment around you, okay, which can make certain experiences quite intense. Okay, so being in the white light creates accuracy. It's like the ability to behold a hypothesis to a theorem, to a solution. Okay, you're being able to see it, measure out as what it is, because everything around you is like a variable and a constant at the same time. Like I have a plant here in a green pot. That's there, in a sense, it's constant in that it's always there and it's not changing colors. And I know that place in my life, but it's also the variable in the sense that I'm me and I'm the viewer of it. And it is ever changing, just like I am. Okay. So I guess the plant can view me and I can view the plant. All right. So that's some of the white light when they're talking about no barriers between life, lifting off that grid. The grid where you lost your mind, you lost your wholeness, you lost your grip and your sense of self. That's why it seemed fractured or cracked or damaged or injured, and trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. All it is that we land in energy lines. When where we come from is limitless. They're playgrounds for us, but this was rigid. They're more like fences instead of trampolines, and it's latitude, longitude, and gravity. Y'all, gravity can be a drag when you come from somewhere that you just think it and move, okay? So these are energy fields and energy attunements that we need to tune into to begin to understand our relationship with them and how we benefit ourselves with them, okay? Because if something is of our truth, that's what's happening here, coming into your truth, self-fed system, the whole self is coming on in if it's to your true benefit. All right, the desire, the delight of your heart, that's what you came with. It's already paid for. It's already meant to be. All right, then it's for the benefit of anyone else that it ripples through. So that's why it's not your job to have to babysit their reactions or their responses. You can just move on, knowing that if it's right and aligned right here, that it's aligned with everything. Okay, but we were talking about bumping into a little bit. That's what those ley lines and things are, the latitude, longitude, gravity, and how to begin to play with them, to use our magic, to use our imagery, our imagination. Okay. All right. All right. Well, I didn't get a card for that. They want me to do it in a minute. Okay, so at the top, this is the thing that can exalt you, catapult you, facilitate you, funnel you. It's kind of like a little, I don't know if you ever did those race car games. You have a nitrous boost that just, you go from like car speed to rocket speed. It's like a double whammy, and there you go. So as long as you maintain control and your sense of self, you're going to get there like that. Now, my car's nickname is Jeannie because I am old enough to have seen I Dream of Jeannie. And she would blink, and everywhere she blinked, there they were. And that's what I dream of for me and my car, myself. Like, I'm not opposed to flying, but I would have the preference of blinking myself there. That's kind of what this King of Wands is showing up as. So this is from Caitlin. I don't remember her last name right now. It's Caitlan. So, this is her tarot deck, and in here she did female kings and male kings, and almost all female caricatures going on. So this is about that passion, the passion of receptivity, the passion of the pollination of the spirit is what you're talking about. The spirit energy, the stardust, the magnificent, the thing that here is causing you to look down at the branch that's been cut off thinking it's limited. Because like instead of going through, they love me not, they love me not, you're just pulling off the whole flower head, trying to make it go quicker. When really all it was to carry you through to the other side. So slow your roll, okay, of your mind and let your body get some move on here, okay? And that doesn't mean run a hustle. It just means move forward, get going, do it, cross on over to the other side. It's right there. It's all knee deep. It's an illusion. That mist is what makes it seem so far away. It's literally right in front of you. It's an optical illusion. That's it. That's it. So anyways, the King of Wands comes in with all that passion. The passion is like the nitrogen from the upper atmosphere in the realms just beyond. That's like the realm of faith. We can take hold of it and bring it into our world through physical practices. They're talking about like rituals and things. Steady and confident as we go. Confidence builder. Okay. Let's take a peek at the energy that was going on down here. That the bending, remember the bending going on of the latitude, longitude, and the gravity, and getting distorted in that as we try and reach those upper atmosphere tracks. I get what you're saying. That's kind of like the warp zone. But just realizing if you'll just go, let your energy go a little loose with how it tries to show up and just keep your mind focused, remembering your soul song, it'll feel right. It'll feel right. Life begins to feel right. Because you trust your inner drive is what they're talking about. You trust your inner drive. I love it. Twins. Two sides in one. Okay, so a lot of what's going on right now in the warbly effect, this is also, they're now pulling it into like a universal message, okay, for others. Is the Gemini Sagittarius North Node, South Node placement right now will be shifting in a very short time in January. So many of you are already feeling the effects of it. So what I would say is go with it. Go with yourself. Trust your gut. Trust your heart. Don't pay attention to the evidence or whatever seems to be going on outside or what seems to be pointed out or bullet points. They're talking about, you know, like a traditional checklist that you just check right off. No, they're wanting to come in for some consideration of personal preference. Personal preference. And this becomes a differentiation between your soul and your spirit, between your internal and external, your rising sign and your sun sign, how to rectify them to create a union and a unity. That's what they were talking about here, a clasp. That's what the Six of Wands is about, you guys, okay? So it's about that perfect circuitry, that unit, but you're being satisfied the whole time. It's favorable. It's nurturing. It's calm. It's collective. It's magical. It's spiritual. It's sensual. It's lovely. It's lovely. And it's for the benefit of everyone involved, okay? So that's the thing, is when you just choose your preference, and you can keep it all in your closet, but you got to choose what to do with that day with your body, as opposed to just trying to put your whole closet on at once, okay? Be yourself in the moment, and trust that, and ask that, and you know what? Celebrate it. This card is sitting up here. It says, if you see something beautiful in others, speak it. But also, if you recognize something beautiful in yourself, appreciate it. That appreciation could just simply be the yes. Dancing with the stardust, the magic with what you're feeling that day as to who you are. And they're saying don't judge yourself. And this means that's different than judgment. Judgment is how we look at ourselves to evaluate in a healthy manner that doesn't... that allows everything to come into account, including eternity, okay? But it doesn't limit and narrow and define like judging does. Judging is trying to process by law only, okay? And to convict, to condemn, okay? To make it be that that's all and never. Always and never. You'll always be this, you'll never do that, that type of thing. You get locked out of your own life, out of your own self, always and never reserved for God. God is the energy that the creation of the oneness of us all, okay? That energy of our unity. All right. So, oh, that's funny. They were face up. This is just a little extra clarification. Okay. Stick around or don't. But remember, this is you coming into the Four of Wands, and that being your instrument, that being who you are, not a birthright you have to fight for any longer. You've inherited the land. It's been through the legal assessment, is what they're talking about here with the Six of Swords. It's been there. Justice has been served. Get out of judgment of yourself. Get out of that state, that Four of Swords. This might look lovely up here, but look, you got legs. You're just holding a feather. Those aren't wings. It's time for you to come down from that back one little piece of yourself that's left of your mind and come out and enjoy your life. There's a whole world outside of that tree you've been living in. Okay. And the swords are pointing over to the resolution of this, the union with oneself, with your rising sign and your sun sign, okay? Specifically. And that's the Five of Wands. That there is no competition, okay? What you're seeing is through all the layers of time. These are the many facets of self, like through the different planes, through the different years, through the different energies, and it's all being perceived around you. But that's why there's no need to shoot. There is no contention. So do away with that struggling energy. There is no competition, meaning only one winner, because this is you. This is you we're talking about here, okay? This is your greatness on the other side. You aligned this and set it all up. Trust yourself. Get moving. They say get believing in yourself. And that's when your outside and your inside look alike, because it's obvious you've been looking in the mirror and you've been kissing yourself. Thanks, God, Father James Brown. Right now. Mwah! Kiss yourself. You got that right. All right. And this is that instrument of the divine love, no longer having to fight for that right. And that's by cleansing this away. All right. Holding your breath till you turn blue, pie in the sky, that type of thing. No, 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 no. This is you and yourself, that divine, this magicalness. Okay. This is like you almost threw in an extra half step. Like this is a close up of what is over here. All right. Follow delight, not THE. Follow delight, the oohs and the ahs, what gets you excited about life, okay? What makes your heart beat, okay? That's what they want you to do, okay? Well, just like that. No, I love you. Talk soon. Bye.